Hello, my friends. Welcome to today's episode of your daily drills with your friend, Phil. And these daily drills are drills that I ask you questions about certain parts of the PMBOK guide or the PMP exam. And today we're still on page 89. We're going through page 89. I'm going to get you guys to the point where you know page 89 really well, especially those students on the journey with me. That's right. We have some students on the journey with me. If you go to pmsucceed.com, you'll be able to take a look at the offer that I have for training via Zoom, virtually, live, every Saturday. And now we've added Wednesdays to the mix as well. So it's going to be power-packed. There's a lot of stuff happening. But you want to sign up quick while the price remains what it is. Go to pmsucceed.com. Check it out. The prices are changing. But to secure your seat and to join us, we've had one session. To join us, pmsucceed.com. All right, let's go to our whiteboard. Now, the way this works, I am going to put a question mark here to ask you, which process do we get this output from? And that's the way we roll in these sessions. So I'll show you an output, which is one of the components from page 89. And I will ask you the question, where is this from? All right, so here is your first one for the day, and it is the issue log. From which process do you get the issue log? 7 seconds. 6, 2, 1, 0. All right, the answer to this, my friends, where you get the issue log from is direct and manage project work. You remember that one? We also get deliverables from there. It's a very important one for your exam, and we also encounter approved change requests going into this one as an input. All right, so that's your first one for the day. Direct and manage project work gives you the issue log. All right, here is your second question for the day. And this one should also be familiar to you because I believe we have covered this in the past on this channel. Here is your question. Duration estimates is an output of which process? Duration estimates. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the answer to this question is none other than estimate activity durations. And you do know there is a difference between activity durations versus resource effort. Effort deals with the number of hours worked, but when we talk about duration, we're talking about the passage of time. And I've talked about this in the past, that Phil could work 40 hours over a period of 10 months because he works 4 hours every month, because he works 1 hour every week in a 4-week month. All right, here's your next question. Lessons learned register is an output of which process? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, thank you very much. The answer to this one is manage project knowledge. And you do know that in manage project knowledge, this is where lessons learned are generated and compiled. And this is where information management and knowledge management are used. You do need to know what those are for your exam. Okay, here is your next drill, and it is physical resource assignments. Physical resource assignments is an output of which process? 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you very much, my friends. The answer to this one is acquire resources. From acquire resources, you get physical resource assignments. These physical resource assignments are not the only major output. There's something else you get from here. We'll talk about it when we get to the right spot. But you do need to remember, human equipment, material supplies, and facilities are the things we are talking about here. We're not talking about one in isolation. We're talking about all manner of resources, okay? But this output about physical resource assignments is the paperwork that documents the assignment of physical resources to the project. All right, here's your next one. Project calendars is an output of which process? 7 seconds, my friends. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So the answer to this one is develop schedule. Develop schedule is the process that you get the schedule baseline, the project schedule, but you don't want to forget the project calendars. And you also do not want to mix up project calendars with resource calendars. They are very different, okay? Good. All righty, let's go on to our next one here. Our next one is project communications. Project communications is an output of which process? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you very much. The answer to this, my friends, is none other than manage communications. From managed communications, you get project communications. And these communications are archived as appropriate, and they are kept for the duration that you are allowed to keep them, depending on the project, all right? So that is project communications. All right, my friends, it's time for us to do our last three. So finish big, finish strong. Come on now. The next one is project schedule. Project schedule is an output of which process? This is so namby-pamby. It would amaze me if you didn't just kill it, get it right immediately. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer to this, I actually just mentioned it. It is develop schedule. From develop schedule, you get your project schedule. All right. 2 left. Here's your next one. From which process do we get project schedule network diagram? Project schedule network diagram. 7, 6, 5, 4, 1, and 0. All right. So for those of you who have read chapter 6, you know that this is from sequence activities. Sequence activities is the process where you obtain your project schedule network diagrams. And I really want to stress, my friends, if you have not mastered free Slack, the definition of what it is, if you have not mastered total Slack, the definition of what it is, and if you have not mastered project Slack, the definition of what it is, you should. Free Slack is the amount of time I can delay an activity without delaying any of its successor activities. You always want to take the smallest gap. So if a task has got 5 successors and each one has a difference of 3, 5, 4, 2, well, 2 is the smallest number. And that would be your free Slack. I might be speaking Greek to some of you. Maybe you need to go read it up again. Total Slack is the amount of time you can delay an activity without affecting the project, without delaying that end date of the project. And project slack is the amount of time you can delay a project without affecting the customer required due date. In other words, it's the difference between the customer required due date and the project end date. And these are terms that will help you if they crop up on the exam in network diagram questions, because it's not enough to know forward passes and backward passes. You could get questions that actually test you on slack or float. And you do need to know these, okay? All right, I hope this gives you some information that you can take back and use to help you in your PMP exam journey. All right, my friends, here is your next one. Project scope statement is an output of which process? Please get this one right, because we've talked about it before as well. 5, 4, 3, and 1. Thank you very much. The answer to this, my friends, is none other than define scope. From define scope, we get the project scope statement. And remember, the project scope statement is one of the big three. We've talked about this before. We've talked about this. And this is where you have your WBS dictionary, project scope statement. Those three, they make up your scope baseline. All right. I'm going to throw in one last one just to make it nice and even. All right. You ready for one more? Can we go one more? All right. Let me throw in one more for tonight, and that will be it. Here's your final question. Final one. And before I go to the final question, for those of you just coming, for those of you who do not know, we have training and coaching. It's on pmsucceed.com. PM, project management, succeed.com. If you go to pmsucceed.com, you can sign up for world-class, I'm talking about best-in-class project management training via Zoom. This is not where they send you off into a black hole to go study without any human interaction. No, every Saturday we come at you for 2 hours, and we've also added Wednesdays to the mix. This was a recent addition. So on Wednesdays, we have touch points. On Saturday, we have realistic questions, scenario questions. It's power-packed, my goodness. And you know, a lot of people don't know, whenever I have events, the folks in my current class, guess what? They eat free. That's right, F-R-E-E. So if I add any other curriculum during the span of this course, these guys don't pay nothing for it. Why wouldn't you join? Why wouldn't you? My goodness, my goodness. Anyway, enough said. Go on down to pmsucceed.com, take a look at the ridiculous offers I've got. 90 hours of video, 20 hours of audio that you can use in addition to the live training you're getting, 3 mock exams, 1 mini mock exam, tons of questions. It's ridiculous. Go there, check it out. All right. So here's your final question, my friends. It's project team assignments. Project team assignments, you heard me mention it earlier if you were paying attention. 5, 4, 2, and 1. Thank you very much. The answer to this one is acquire resources again, because as you acquire resources, human resources, people working on your project, you assign those folks, right, on the project. We call that project team assignments. You also need to remember the physical resource assignments we just talked about. That is also an output of acquire resources. All right, my friends. Cool. Well, I hope this has been of help to you. And I hope it helps you narrow down the possibilities for your PMP exam. I know there are lots of folks who struggle. They struggle alone. Do not struggle alone. Get help. The cost of this virtual course is what people will charge you for an mere online course. But the thing about our course, when you go on down to pmsucceed.com, this course gives you access until, watch this, January 1st, 2021. You got 6 months pretty much to double down and get certified. So we're taking the concern of time off the table. I also want to address a misconception that has been brought to my attention. Some people believe that the PMI will be changing the PMP exam in 2021 to the 7th edition, first thing in January. No, that is not true. So when the PMP exam changes in January, it is not going to be based on the 7th, not on the 7th. The 6th edition of the PMBOK guide is here for some more time. It is not going away, not going away in January. Okay? It's a misconception. Not going away. I hope I make myself clear. So those of you thinking, oh, January, I'm going to be, it's a new exam, all right? It's broken down differently. The configuration is different, but it is not based on the 7th edition. All right? I'm sorry to say it so annoyingly, but some people think it is. I just got to correct that. All right? So I look forward to seeing you, my friends, again on another episode of Daily Drills. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit like. Help your buddy Phil. Hey, you know, anytime you hit like, it helps me. It helps me. And anytime those of you who don't like it, you know, it also helps me because engagement is engagement. That's how YouTube sees it. But I'd rather you hit like if you found value from it. And, you know, instead of just hitting dislike and not letting me know how I can help you, don't do that. Leave a comment if there's something you think that could help you more in the videos. Please let me know. All right? There's nothing wrong in improvement. Improvement is good. Kaizen, right? Change for the better. Speaking of Kaizen, my friends, you do know that there's been massive changes on the PMP exam. So that is one of the reasons why we have put in an agile component into our training. We're offering 6.5 hours of agile, 6.5 hours of recorded agile training. It's going to be for anyone coming through this course. And I keep hearing agile, agile. A lot of my colleagues who are PMP trainers, they have voiced the same concern that agile seems to be a lot larger than life on the exam. Okay, so if those are areas that you need help on, just remember your buddy Phil's here to help you. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you tomorrow.